You do realize that lunch is the most important meal of the day.
Thought it was breakfast.
Some people say that, but you know, it's just a theory.
MatPat's cameo in Five Nights at Freddy's is very interesting to me. On one hand, you have an adaptation of a video game made to traumatize anyone with a teddy bear. Released in 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's traps you in a security room where the goal is to keep the animatronics out, and if you fail, well, there's gonna be some issues. On the other hand, you have MatPat, retired YouTuber, soon to be president of the world, known for saying that's just a theory and being a very sweet and funny guy while saying it. A YouTuber showing up in a horror movie should always be terrible, but for some reason, people all around the world kinda loved it.
But you know, it's just a theory. Are you being
A cameo appearance, also called a cameo role, and often shortened to just cameo, is a brief guest. That's not terribly important. It's kind of when someone who isn't actually an actor just pops in and says hello before leaving and never seeing the light of day again. In Five Nights at Freddy's, it's when the main character's aunt is at a restaurant and the waiter asks if they want some food. And lo and behold, it's MatPat. According to Studio Binder, a good cameo is enhancing, while a bad cameo takes you out of the story. Find any article and it would probably say something similar. The cameo should enhance the movie and not under any circumstances take you out of the experience. On the surface, Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror movie. It's supposed to make you shake your legs and bite your nails, so maybe an enhancing cameo in that would be one that makes you go nom 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 nom. Going by this, MatPat's cameo should be the worst one out there. I have never seen anything take me out of an experience that quickly. I basically stopped caring about the animatronics because it was MatPat playing a server called Ness. What the fuck? And like you saw before, I wasn't the only one to feel that way. It sounds like someone pressed E at a Kanye concert. I mean, listen to this guy. That is the sound of someone who has fully stopped caring about the movie, but he's having a great fucking time. The definition that a good cameo is enhancing and a bad cameo takes you out of the experience is flawed, because in Five Nights at Freddy's, MatPat does both. Or does he? Let's take a look at another cameo that got a very different reaction. I'm talking about Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones.
It's a pretty song. I've never heard it before.
It's a new one.
Watch this and tell me it doesn't feel like a Burger King ad. Like, I'm pretty sure I could just...
I've never heard it before.
It's a new one.
Are you hungry? Are you hungry?
A lot of people got very mad and vocal about this cameo. The thought of a pop artist showing up to sing a song during an active war in a fantasy world is what made people so angry. But if you really think about it, isn't it very similar to MatPat's cameo? I mean, it's someone saying hello in a dark world, despite not being very dark themselves. And that's not a skin tone thing, by the way, I'm talking about vibes. You could say this is an enhancing cameo as well. After all, it's a well-known person who's also pretty damn good at singing, but that's not what I'm getting at here. It's just that when it comes to getting thrown out of the experience, you kind of have to define what is the experience. In Game of Thrones, it would probably be and if so, Ed Sheeran popping in definitely takes you out of it. If you say that the goal of the FNAF movie is to be scary, then MatPat absolutely throws you out with a hefty throw. But I also think you're kinda wrong. I think the goal of the movie is to celebrate a decade-long journey that started as an indie game in 2014. Something that grew so much bigger than anyone could have ever predicted, and YouTubers like MatPat were a big part of that. But they also wanted to make a shit ton of money from a bunch of overly loyal fans, which they did. If they were only trying to make it scary, they wouldn't choose the living tombstone as the outro. They wouldn't have Corey Kenshin as a cab driver, and they sure as hell wouldn't have MatPat saying that's just a theory. If you look at the movie more as a celebration of a fandom rather than a horror movie, the cameo makes total sense and doesn't take you out of the experience at all. You can tell this is what they were going for, because in the movie, he's not just there. He also says his catchphrase and is called Ness. That's a reference to a theory where he argues that Sans from Undertale and Ness, known for being a disgusting piece of shit in Smash Bros, are actually the same person. They're obviously showing as much love to MatPat as he has shown them all over the years. That's maybe another problem with Ed, because he doesn't have a lot to do with gaming on Thrones in the first place. But it's very rare for a movie to be more about appealing to a fandom than telling an interesting story. The only other ones I can think of are maybe the Minecraft movie, the Taylor Swift movie, kind of. Believe it or not, I have not seen the Tay-Tay movie, but in Minecraft they had so many cameos that are so strange, except this one, which is very cool. But because the movie is more about celebrating a fandom, they can kinda get away with anything. I mean, people will still light fireworks inside of that theater. Even in the FNAF movie, they barely tried to fit the cameo into the story. Like, imagine if you had no idea who MatPat was. You're 30 minutes into the movie. You've just seen a security guard get murdered. The main character obviously has some serious trauma about his lost brother, and now he's working at a place where you would only order pizza from takeaway. And then out of nowhere, there's a super excited waiter trying to explain why lunch is in fact the most important meal of the day. It's no surprise that critics didn't like this movie. And even though that's not MatPat's fault, it's the little things like this that makes it so strange. The movie isn't for newcomers, it's for fans of the franchise, so it can mess around with cameos as much as it would like, which is a very unusual place to be in. Now all we can do is wait for the sequel and what will happen there. I think MatPat has probably done his part in the FNAF universe. Next up has to be Markiplier, the king of FNAF, as some people call him.
Was that the bite of 87?
He was actually supposed to be the guard who died at the start of the movie, but he was too busy filming Iron Lung, so he couldn't make it. I'm willing to bet this one singular ramstick that he will be killed at the start on December 5th, but you know, that's just a theory. A gambling theory.